Hey guys, and welcome back to Boho Jewel. I'm Sandra, and I wanted to share this really fun project with you guys. This was actually something that I did last year teaching summer camps, and the age group for this camp was rising first through third graders. So, you know, kids coming straight out of kindergarten who are going to be going into first grade the following year, and kids going into third grade the following year. So it was a really fun project. So let me tell you kind of what we did here. I'm trying to make sure you can kind of see with the reflection what's happening here. This was actually a fun demo that one of the volunteers did. So she just kind of free-handed and did this really beautiful owl. So the project was about stained glass because the camp itself was knights and princesses. And so I was trying to do something really fun every day that had to do with tying artwork and with fairy tales, things like that. So we did these, and these are our stained glass pictures. So you can see it's just basically tin foil, transparency paper, and when I was organizing things the other day, I found some extra transparency paper, so I thought I would share with you guys. So now I think this turned out really, really beautiful, and for older kids, like maybe 4th through 6th grade, you know, this was a teenager in high school. She had fun doing it. So it can be something really fun, especially right now. Everyone's trying to find creative things to do at home, or, you know, anytime your kids are out of school, trying to find something fun to do. So she free-handed this, but I found that with the younger groups, I had one 5-year-old in that group. Most of the rest were, I think, 6 or 7, if I remember correctly, and then I think I had one that was 8. So it's a good project for all of them. But this one right here, and I kept it separate, this was my demo. So what I did, I actually created some of these shapes for them to give them a start. And that's what I've done here. So I just kind of doodled this morning, prepping for the video. So a lot of times what you'll find with the younger ones, especially 5 or 6, you give them something like this, they're going to do like a big shape here, a big shape there, it's going to be hardly anything, and then they're not going to get as excited about the end result. So giving them some kind of starting place is a really great idea. So that's what I did, and I like kind of having the frame here on the outside, just to give it that framed window look and that kind of impression. But then what I did, I just started with the basic shapes, and then I told them, you know, you can go in and you can create triangle shapes on the sides, you can create other abstract shapes or circles, you can do swirls, or you can just divide it all into straight lines. So that was the idea with that. And just like this one, you know, I give them like enough space on the paper to play with, to where the youngest ones have something to color in if they're not really sure what else to do, but the older kids have plenty of space to keep being creative. And we got some really beautiful stuff that came out of it. So, you know, and even if they just want to draw stick figure families or something, it's a lot of fun. So now the thing with transparency paper is that it's clear, right? So for them to take this on, I mean, even for me to try to draw this on a flat surface, or, you know, it disappears. So I just made copies of my general outline, and they each got a copy, and you just lay the transparency paper over top. It tends to cling a little bit usually to paper. If it slides around too much, you can always put a little bit of tape on one side so it stays still for them. And I got one started. But then I actually just had them trace, let me see if I have it the right way. I had them trace the lines. So, and I let them use rulers, so they could line the rulers up with the lines, and they could trace the basic beginnings of it. And I had a couple of kids in there that were super, super creative, super confident with their drawing skills. So I also gave them the option of just drawing whatever they wanted to. But this gave them a chance to kind of use the rulers, to experiment, and all of the kids ended up using the template and then getting creative in their own ways. And I think it's a good practice for them to use rulers to learn how to line things up. Now here's what I will tell you when you're doing this, and you can see some of my smudgy places. This is also an excellent lesson in patience because, dropped my lid, you can see where there are some little smudges right here. You definitely want to use Sharpies. So this is the thing with that. If kids are doing art, make sure they're wearing art clothes. You can't use water-based markers on this. You're going to have to use Sharpies because otherwise it's not going to dry. It's going to stay runny. And once the Sharpie dries, it doesn't go anywhere. So that's basically what I had them do. And then they could go in, let's do this little corner. So they would just trace the shapes. And the reason I wanted to do kind of abstract shapes rather than a traditional maybe stained glass window type of thing, what I have found when teaching kids is they really get in their own heads about what it's supposed to look like. So anytime you can give them something where they can be a little bit more abstract and realize that it doesn't have to look a certain way and that everyone's a little wonky, and that everyone's is going to be a little different, they get really excited about that, you know? And so this is just a great way to let them play and kind of challenge them to see what kind of shapes they can come up with, what kind of patterns, what kind of designs, right? And so once they're done tracing, you can give them just a blank sheet of paper to put underneath if they need a blank sheet of paper still. And just make them aware of the possibility of the smudging. So, yeah, so just, you know, it's a good time to doodle. It's a good time to doodle. So once they have their picture in there and they're happy with their images, then you go in and let them color it. And I found these the other day, these cosmic colors, so I thought they were kind of fun. So, like I said, you definitely have to use Sharpies for this, guys. Definitely Sharpies. And I know everyone's kind of cooped up at home right now. I think Amazon is still running orders. So I'm going to see if I can find some links for the materials so that you guys can have some of the materials to play with. So then, once everything's outlined in black, see how these colors show up. Then they just take some time to color it in and do whatever they want to with the colors. And let me tell you, it was so much fun because like kids know the value of a Sharpie. Like they got really excited that they were going to be using the Sharpies because they only ever get to use the water-based stuff, right? So yeah, so that was kind of fun too. But you just let them color it in, all different colors, however they want. Let's see what this pink looks like. But I do like to do the black outline because that does kind of give it the impression of stained glass. You know, stained glass has the darker outlines, you know, the black outlines are a really dark steely gray. Oh, that is really pretty color. How about that? Let's put you over here too. So this is just something super fun that they can do. And just I was really surprised. Sometimes you get surprised when you're working with kids what they'll absolutely fall in love with and what they'll like the most. Holy moly, that's bright. But they really enjoyed this. They really spent a lot of time in it. And I think too, by giving them something to trace in the beginning, sometimes it just gives their brains a break too from having to figure it out and think about it initially. And it kind of gets them in that sort of creative zone, you know, like they're tracing, they're chatting, they're hanging out, and it gives them a minute to just kind of relax into what they're working on and kind of subconsciously think about what they're doing, to get familiar with the materials and what it feels like, because this definitely feels way different than working on paper, you know, that's not so smooth. So it gives them a chance to work with something a little different. And it gives them a chance to just kind of chill out. And I think we all need that. Sorry, I just heard a ding. I forgot to turn the sound off on my phone. So let's just check out this one last color. And then I'll show you guys the next step because I'm curious about these colors now. This looks really dark. What is this? And they don't have names on them. I was looking for names like, like crayons or Prismacolor. Let's put you down here. Oh, okay. It's not that dark. These are really cool colors, though, I have to say. Cool deal. Okay. So they really did love this project. I sidetracked myself. We ended up doing like this really big three-dimensional castle where they got to use recycle supplies and boxes and things. And a bunch of them took some small bits of the transparency paper and made stained glass windows for our castle, which was super cool. So then what you're going to do is you're just going to take like a piece of cardstock. I just have a solid color piece of cardstock. This was a little doodle that we had done for one of the other projects. And I let them decide whether they wanted the foil crinkly or not. And this is probably going to make some noise. I apologize ahead of time. So I let them decide. I let them look at their pictures and decide if they wanted to fold the paper. And for some reason, this is sort of crinkly already. What has my foil been up to in the kitchen? So I let them kind of look at it and see if they wanted a smooth piece of foil underneath or if they wanted it to be crinkly. And if they wanted it to be crinkly, all you do, you just let them get in there and crinkle it up, which is satisfying and kind of fun. And then you pull it back apart gently so you don't tear it anywhere, like I just did. You just pull it apart gently, smooth it out enough to get it around a piece of paper or cardstock. I find that cardstock is good because it's a little more sturdy. And then you just smooth it around the paper, flip it over, let them tape it on the back. I always let the kids do as much as they can for themselves. Tape it on the back. And then you just take the image, put it over top, and then tape the sides of that as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that's something you feel like you can do with your kiddos, or even if you're teaching an art class or a camp or a workshop or something. It's a really neat little project. It's hard for the... I've got a lot of glare in here. I'll try to get a good picture for the thumbnail though so you get a better idea. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope everyone stays healthy and happy and creative. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.